Get in on the action with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa is where the pros play. Enjoy the highest limits, lowest takeouts, competitive betting menus, and the best customer service. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. Circa Sports Iowa. Sports betting the way it should be. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com for details.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
Hey, what's going on, man? Tyler here with Black Diamond Softball and Fitness, bringing you a brand new episode of the Foul Pole to Foul Pole podcast. In this week's episode, I got a chance to sit down with my good buddy Josh Cathcart from Hitting Done Right HDR. We talk about how our hips play a vital role in our swing. We talk about how to correct our hand path. We even get into a discussion about how former major leaguers have turned to full-time trolls. Check it out.
I can look at something in a swing pretty easy and tell that kid needs this. That kid needs this. And so when I see those things that are maybe a little bit different, my thoughts automatically go to which one of my players. Not necessarily, oh, I need to take all of this in, but which one of my players could benefit from this? And then you reach out and you have conversations, talking to different.
Hey, Josh, man, thank you for joining me today. It's an honor to talk to you. I really appreciate this. And again, thank you for coming on.
Dude, I appreciate the invite, man. I saw you and Coach Nate the other day. I was like, I need to get a hold of this dude. So I'm glad that it worked out, man.
Absolutely. I've been following you for a couple years now because I have 3 daughters at different levels, and there's always something good from you that I can, maybe I don't see it until I see your video and I go, wait a minute, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. So, and now my daughters are actually paying attention to themselves, and they're seeing your videos and they're trying new things, or they're trying to feel whatever it is that you're saying. So you've had a big impact, not only on my kids, but the girls that are around here, because I try to teach some of the same stuff that you teach just straight off of whatever I see you doing. So, man, doing big things, Hitting Done Right. I know that you're always busy, you've always got clients, you've always got a camp, you've always got a clinic. So I appreciate you taking the time. I want to jump right into it. How did you figure out that this is what I wanted to do for the foreseeable future?
Ooh, what are you talking about? Like back in the day when I decided to coach? Okay, so from the get. So baseball, obviously, it's always been part of my life. I played it growing up. My dad was a ball player. My mom played softball. Into high school, really had to work hard because I was undersized and not the most talented. So I kind of developed that really nice work ethic to get things done, just with kind of a chip on my shoulder, Went to college to A&M, walked on, got hurt, never played a game, freaking, sad, couldn't play baseball anymore. So started volunteering a little bit, coaching around during the summers and everything, just having fun with it. And then once I graduated, I moved back home for a little bit, and I was actually managing at a academy, like a sports and outdoors academy. And my high school baseball coach that I played for called, and he was like, hey, man, I heard you were in town. I've got a freshman job open for you. And I was like, dude, I don't have a teaching certificate. He's like, oh, we'll get that figured out. So we got it figured out. I did a little bit of odd job stuff before I got my full teaching certificate, but I started coaching freshman baseball. And with that, when you're working by yourself, dude, I just dove into being able to teach and understand all the fundamentals to help these kids. And it's something that just really stuck in my brain. The hitting mechanics, studying the great hitters from when I was growing up. We were just getting into, when I started at the high school, we were just getting into the video recording. There was a program called Right View Pro that is now kind of like Coach's Eye, but it was the first of its kind. It had the cameras that were set up around the field so we could get all sorts of angles, man. And I just dove in. Like I was just technology, just dove into it. Really started breaking down swings, started doing lessons there in town during the summer and whatnot. In 2011, we won the state tournament, and me and my wife at the time were kind of talking. It was like, dude, these 2 teacher salaries ain't going to get it done for what we want to do in life. So I came and I checked out hardball. And the owner here pretty much hired me on the spot after I talked to him, put me in charge of the hitting here at the academy, put me in charge of the teams here at the academy. Yeah, man. So I've been doing it now. This is almost 20 years between the high school and here. 3 years ago, got online, started putting stuff out as baseball doctor. That kind of blew up. And now with the hitting done right on my own, the way that I guess my style, if you want to call it a style, methods, ideas came about is when I finally got my teaching certificate, I was an elementary PE teacher. So I did elementary PE for like 6 years. And when you're teaching 4 and 5-year-olds how to jump rope and play kickball and, hula hoop and all of these skills, you got to be kind of creative. You can't just be like, hey, man, go over here and do this. Those kids don't know how to walk and chew gum. They don't know how to stand on one foot. They don't know how to do anything.
Right.
And so, you call them props, call them barriers, call them visual cues, whatever it is. I learned that, hey, man, these younger kids, they got to touch something. They have to be touched. They got to be put into these positions. They have to feel, like we talk about all the time, they got to feel where they want to get to. And after that, man, I don't know, like the support online has just been great. People I think really resonate with how I teach the younger kids. It's like, oh, this makes sense. So, it is what it is. I'm ever evolving, ever learning. There's some guys out right now with their stuff online that I go to, pretty much every day and be like, hey, man, what has this guy got up today? Yeah. And always learning. But yeah, that's it. I'm doing what I love, man. Every single day I get to step in the batting cage or look at hitters or travel the country to do camps or whatever. So I can't complain.
I know from my experience, trying to figure out the best way to communicate with the youth so they can understand it. I mean, I can say whatever it is 1,000 different ways, but unless I'm saying it the way that they can communicate with me, they're just not going to pick it up, not going to understand it. And me personally, have 3 daughters that all learn differently. One I can talk to, and then we can she'll ask questions back as she's doing it. The other one, I'll tell her, she'll do it, maybe get it right, maybe get it wrong, but then we're butting heads. And then the other one is just out there, is this right? Is this right? Is this right?
Yeah.
So for you, with your background, playing, having an understanding of the game, and then the amount of study time and study hours you put into it, couple that with being a teacher of young minds, I think that has helped you be able to communicate with these kids and have them understand. You could say something to one and have to say something completely different to the other because who you are able to communicate with that. How much pride do you take in every time someone new comes in and gets a lesson for you and they can't wait to get back to another lesson with you?
Oh man, the ones that when they leave here are craving more is why I do what I do. I'm not an easy coach. Even for, first time when they come in, the expectation is set. I'm demanding, but at the same time, I love my kids, man. Right. And I think that when you're genuine like that, even from the get-go, you got to build some sort of relationship, obviously, before you can just go, full board with them. Right. But having that, I'm here for you, but this is the expectation. And then ultimately for the kid, it's, did they feel like they got better? And for them, it may not be, oh, I'm hitting a double, I'm hitting a homer. It may be, hey, I could stand here and swing and not fall over. And I notice that when I do that, I hit the ball better. I want more of that.
Yeah.
And when you have them craving that, it's great. That's why we do what we do. It's just the positive feedback that you're looking for. And honestly, if they don't, then something is missing. Either your ability to communicate or coach, whatever it may be, or their desire, and that's one of the things that I see a lot of, is especially now, everybody's got to have a hitting coach. Everybody's got to have a pitching coach. Well, most of that, when you're talking about kids under 12, is mom and dad want to say that so-and-so has a hitting coach.
Exactly.
It's not the kid going, oh, mom, dad, please take me to get me a coach. And so you have that. You've got to kind of work that barrier too. We're going to have fun here. We're going to work hard. We're going to have fun. We're going to get better. But the kid's got to want
it. I just put something out there today about that. It might go out tomorrow, the next day, about, us as parents. Are we putting too much pressure on the kid because we're trying to live out some past career we had, and maybe the kid doesn't even want to play anymore. Maybe we're just doing this, and this is their way to connect with you as their parent. My dad likes to coach ball, or my mom likes to coach ball, and if I want any type of relationship with them, I have got to play this sport that I don't even care about anymore because it's not fun. All the fun's taken out of it. So what does it mean to you when a kid finally gets it right, it clicks, and you can see that smile on their face?
I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm happy for them, but when that light bulb goes off, man, and it's like, okay, I don't want to say relief. Relief's not the right word, but it's like this, now we got this hump. Now let's go to the next one. And that's the thing, is them understanding that this is a building block. This is a process. Right. I think the biggest mistake that not only players, they don't know any better, but parents that never played, the biggest mistake that I see with them is they expect things to happen quickly. Mm-hmm. It's like, this isn't going to happen overnight. This is going to be a process that we're going to have to work through, and everybody needs to understand. And once they have the understanding that it's going to be here, 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 then it's like these small victories. Right. If we can get that one smile, that one good swing, that one feel, we talk all the time about feel, and have a kid leave here with that, dude, to some of those kids, that feels like the biggest victory in the world.
Yeah.
It all depends on what type of player you're dealing with. And so just sitting in a cage, dude, I love it. And if anybody's watched like my live stuff, y'all see me get frustrated. Y'all see me get really happy. Yeah. And it is, we're a team. I tell kids all the time, like, they're looking at me. I'm like, dude, I'm here for you.
Right.
Like,
right.
I am in this cage giving you everything I have for you. Do you feel good? Are you understanding? It's not about how I feel.
Right.
I've been teaching the same fundamentals for 20 years. It's not about me. How do you feel? And when they take that ownership and that light comes on, dude, it's like, aha, all right, brother.
So when you're learning something, or you're trying to get better at something, or something is kind of brought to your attention, you've seen something, or you see somebody else kind of working on something, and you want to start working on that too. Do you get excited for that kind of stuff? Like, you're changing up just a little bit, you're maybe mixing some things up. Let's try it this way to see if this works better. Or like when you're in the lab working on your stuff when no one can see you, like, what's Josh's mentality in there?
Everything that I see, I think, has some sort of value. There are things that I look at and I'm like, man, you know what? Probably not for the masses, but I can use that. Mm-hmm. Some things, dude, I've got a couple guys that I go to on, like I said, online, that it's just like, I want to know what that guy's doing and how he's saying it. I know that we have kind of the same ideas, but they're doing it different. Casey Smith at Out Front Hitting is just a godsend to baseball. Right. Joey Kuna over with the farm system, the stuff he does with directional stuff and hips and everything else. I've taken a lot of that. Mm-hmm. It always excites me to find stuff that I think can work. And one of the things, man, like, and it's, pat my own back, whatever it is. One of the things after doing this, I can look at something in a swing pretty easy and tell that kid needs this. That kid needs this. And so when I see those things that are maybe a little bit different, my thoughts automatically go to which one of my players, not necessarily, oh, I need to take all of this in, but which one of my players could benefit from this. And then you reach out and you have conversations, talking to different hitting guys around. And, I've traveled around and visited some guys out in California. I talk to Nate all the time, just some other guys online. But craving information is a must this day and age. It is, with the video and the movements and everything else and the experts that are out on the internet. You have to continue to be a student of the game. And I like it, man. I like you said, it's kind of a lab for me. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to get in. These are the movements. These are the positions we're trying to get to. Let's figure this out. And I don't care what it looks like. Yeah. It may be the weirdest thing in the world. If it helps that one guy for that hour session or that one girl, all for it, man. Yeah. I love, dude, I like people that actually, I love hitting. Like, I don't just like it. Like, when I leave here, I'm going home and I'm looking at hitting. I'm watching MLB. I'm watching the slow motions. I'm reading. Like, I love hitting. So anything that comes in, I try to take as much information. Now, some of it is just eyewash, dude. Like, no, that's not even close. I don't know what they're doing. But for the most part, if you're looking at reputable guys, the information is just endless. And if you take bits and pieces and can put that together to work for your players, amen.
We see it a lot, right? Whether it's social media or we could be out somewhere and we see somebody doing something. If we don't know the context of what's going on, we could be really quick to judge and say, man, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just one quick 5-second clip of a part of an hour-long lesson or a 30-minute long lesson. And this is just one piece of it to show you, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. And somebody walks up and sees you teaching or looks like you're teaching that, they're going to go, you know what? He has no idea what he's talking about. How do you combat the trolls that are out there, especially major leaguers that are coming at you guys left and right and saying, hey, you didn't play the game in the bigs, so you don't know what you're talking about. You have no credibility, although you've been doing it for 20 years, learning along the way and what works and what doesn't work. So how do you combat those types?
Man, anybody that follows me online probably knows by this time I've got a couple, one in particular that, hammers on me for whatever reason. I don't really know how I combat it. I mean, you gotta drown out the noise at some point. But at some point, I just had to have some self-respect and pride and stuff. And you're not going to freaking bash me without knowing anything about me. So I just continue to do what I do. I know that I have not only the following, but I have 3 years of support that I can go back to, and be like, dude, this is why I'm doing this.
Right.
This one guy that played in the big leagues in the 1990s who says something, does something totally different and wants to go bash people. That's just noise at this point. The following, and I know it's social media, the number doesn't mean anything, but it kind of does. At this point, after 3 years, if I wasn't doing things properly and I didn't know what I was doing, goodness gracious, then I would be out of work. People wouldn't come anymore. I would have other coaches that played in the big leagues coming and being like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And it wouldn't just be one person, right. Like I said, I had Baseball Doctor, which is now gone. But if you include Baseball Doctor and now Hitting Done Right, it was up to like 300,000 online followers across all platforms.
Right.
At that size, dude, if I was a fraud, people would be calling me out left and right. I wouldn't have camp scheduled until February, So I just take pride in that. I try to ignore it as best I can. I really do wish that some of those guys would drop the ego a little bit and take the time to pick up the phone and have a conversation or get on a Zoom. Because I think we can learn a lot, dude. I never played. I don't have one college at bat. I don't have one major league at bat. I could learn a whole lot from guys that had to face 98 with a 90-mile-an-hour slider.
Yeah.
I could. I teach the fundamentals to young kids. That's a realm that I don't get into because I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the experience. But just to be bashing the fundamentals, those guys don't know what they're doing, man. They really don't. I've said this about Major League Baseball players for a long time. I understand that they work really, really, really hard. So what I'm about to say, let's not get it twisted. But for the most part, those guys are not your normal athlete.
Right.
They're professionals. They were at the very cream of the crop top from the time they were 14 years old until whenever. Now, you're going to have your outliers. You're going to have those guys that were nobody, went to JUCO, and they worked their way up. That happens. But for the majority, major league talent, D1 talent, is not what we are working with on a daily basis.
Right.
And so those guys that played at a high level and, they want to bash and dude, you don't know what it's like to be normal.
Right.
Like that's it. You don't know what it's like to be 5'7", 140 pounds, graduating high school, trying to play this game.
Right. You
You don't know what it's like trying to play this game when you only throw the ball 75 miles an hour. You don't know what it's like trying to play when you run a 7.3 60. And so like I said, I try to ignore it, but at this point, just come have a conversation with the guys that are in this with the kids for real and are using the technology. Just because you played in the big leagues, congratulations. I wish I could have played in the big leagues, but that by no way, shape, or form means that you're a good coach.
Right.
It just doesn't. You got to go out there and you got to prove that. And I think at this point, my information and the support and the followings, says I'm doing an okay job.
Yeah, I'd say. I think what a lot of times happens is they don't realize that you're not taking this 8-year-old going to the big leagues next week. You're building something, building a foundation. And I think the real ones that truly want this level of instruction are the ones that stick it out and they build over time, because you're not going to fix the swing overnight. You're not going to fix it, in a couple of months. It's something that takes time because the athlete is growing. So the technique has to grow with that athlete as they get bigger, stronger, faster, so there's different levels to it. And to be able to get that from your brain and your mind to translate that to a kid, that's where your profession comes in at. And like you said, if there was a time for you to just be able to sit down and talk to someone and understand, hey, dude, we're not trying to say the way you did it is wrong and the way the major leaguers are doing it is wrong. We're trying to get kids to get to that point so someone can get them to that level. I'm just on the foundation. I'm on the floor here trying to give them something.
That is, and the crazy thing, and the swing is the swing is the swing.
Right.
Like everybody wants to create debates and create all of this stuff. This baseball swing has been the baseball swing since people started swinging the bat. And the ones that do certain things better are the ones that are better. Like, it's not rocket science. Be balanced in your load, get to launch, and have good direction.
Right.
Put those three things together. You figure it out from there. What's your rhythm? Are you a leg kick? Are you a toe touch? Are you a nose strike? Okay. Are you hey, I got to think about swinging down? Or are you hey, I got to think about getting out in front of the ball a little bit? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you have those three things and you have a good approach, for the love of God approach. People, start teaching your kids what the strike zone is. But from a swing perspective, all of this arguing, debating, that's just people trying to fill time.
Right.
I can stand up with any good hitting instructor that has a clue and go, okay, is this important? Yep. How about this? Yes. And this? Yes. Okay. That's it.
I wish that other people, whoever doesn't think this way. And I'm going to make a statement. I became a better coach when I stopped trying to be a coach, when I started listening and using other people to my advantage, taking what they knew or what they say, seeing if it can work for me. If it does, great, I'm going to use it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to bash them because I have a different opinion on it. I just not going to use their information. I wish the circle was like that, whether it's baseball, whether it's softball, whether it's any youth sport. It doesn't matter what it is. If something works for you, use it. If not, don't bash it because it doesn't.
Yep, absolutely. And again, I think the world of the internet is just, it does such a detriment. It's positive. There are good, really good things that come out of it. Obviously, my business at this point, social media has done wonders. But people see clips and they get that right there. Oh, I don't like that, without discovering why,
right,
or talking to the person. It's all, that looks funny. I don't understand it. It must be bad. Right. Instead of having a book in front of you where you can read and find context and do all that, they see this little bitty clip. Nope, 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 nope. And the human reaction to something new and something uncomfortable is whoa.
Yep.
It's, for very few people, is the initial reaction of something that is a little bit off or a little bit uncomfortable. Very few people go, "Oh, let me learn more."
Right.
Most people are like, "No, that's not good." And in the internet, all you got to do, pop, get on your keyboard, and there it is.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue into, you're not the best hitting coach for this player, but you are the best hitting coach for that player. You may not be able to connect with this guy or this family or this girl, but you can with this one. And I think once people realize that, then they'll be like you. They'll get better. I just can't connect, or I connect really well with this one. So how many times have you been in that situation where, I've got to change the way I'm communicating, or I'm not doing this child any service whatsoever?
Daily. It's a daily battle, not only because of the personality, but what's happening in that kid's life. Yeah. And that's another thing that I really learned from teaching, is every kid that walks in the door has a different story that day.
Yeah.
That day something could have been off. Young kids didn't get breakfast, forgot their shoes. Mom and dad were yelling at them coming out the door. High school kids, girlfriend broke up with me, boyfriend broke up with me. I'm hungover. If you're on, whatever the case is, everybody has a different story walking in. And so you have to deal with it that way. You got to know what buttons to push.
Yeah.
Like I said before, excuse me, I'm a pretty stern coach, but my kids feel the love also when they do good things. But there are kids that I'm like, okay, I really need to back off of this. Even if it goes against how I feel right now, be a little more calm, be a little more reserved. And it's hard for me. It's something that I've really had to work on because of my intensity. But if you can't relate to every kid on some level, then you're not going to be very good, number one, and you're not going to last very long. Now, I will say there have been, I would probably say in my coaching career, probably 10, maybe a few less than that I have had to at some point say, listen, this isn't working. Either, we're not communicating well. We're not meeting the expectations of practice. I'm wanting this more than your child is. Right. Maybe the maturity level's not there. You got to have, even if it's a young kid, if you're going to come and spend hundreds of dollars a month on lessons, your kid better be practicing.
Right.
Unless you got more money than sense, and so there have been times been like, listen, you're blowing money because your child is not mature enough, or y'all can't find the time for practice. Now that's happened a lot more than hey, our personalities don't work.
Right. That's a big thing that I wanted to ask you about too, is, they come to you for hitting, but you also, they leave you with homework. It's not just, this is the only time you hit is with me and at practice. They've got to, whatever you tell them to do. So, just for generality here, what's a typical client relationship, like with you, and just someone that either starting out or someone that's been with you for years. You can go into both if you would like.
Starting out, well, first of all, as soon as people come in the door, we go over expectations, different ages. So I start with 9-year-olds in person. I won't work anybody younger than that unless I get video first. and really see that the kid has, some sort of foundation. A 7 and 8-year-old gets really tough. They got to be pretty special to get them into private lessons. But with the new ones, it's, what are we looking for? I've tried to find out if the parents are reasonable, number one. Got to find out what kind of work ethic the kid has. Are we talking about a kid that is a practice on my own kid already? Or are we talking about a kid that is going to be pulling teeth? Then I ask them all to get a hitting notebook so they can come in and we can jot down notes during the lesson. I can write down exactly, with the YouTube channel, I would write down, hey, go to this video, watch these drills, and then a number of swings per week. For my 9 to 11-year-olds, we're kind of in that 250 to 350 range of what I like to see per week. And that would be just the drills, like at home. That's not with your team and all that stuff. That's just independent work. And then that number goes up, about 100 a year. Once the relationship is built, I have clients of all sorts. I have clients that I won't ever hear from. I just see them at their lessons. I won't ever hear from them. And then me and the kid will talk. I've got other clients that every day, they're sending me video of either a game or a drill or whatever. Hey, what do you see? We have that. And then obviously you're always going to have those that are really close. Like I have some clients that have become.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Really, really close friends. We have personal relationships and do all that. From the kid perspective, it's kind of let them dictate how the relationship is outside of coaching. If I've got a kid that comes in and they want to ask me about my day and I want to ask them about stuff, we may spend 5 or 10 minutes chopping it up.
Right.
And that's part of what gets them comfortable. That's part of our routine. It's not killing time. It's not doing it. That's my coaching relationship with them. I've got other kids that as soon as they walk in, they don't want to talk. They want to get on that tee and they want to get to work. And so you got to feel that. You got to be a chameleon, man. Yeah. Like you got to be a chameleon. You got to be a people person. And the relationships over time, I think develop on their own. They kind of, you create whatever it is. There's going to be some that are, I guess, that reach out more and are using you, not using in a bad way, but using you as a resource, and everything. And then there's some that they just sit back, let me do my thing. And I don't ever hear from them until their son does really good or their son does really bad.
All right.
It's like,
It's, having that open dialogue with the parents to have that communication so that the child sees that as well. It's like, hey, it's like a progress report. Are we getting out what we should be getting out, or do we need to kind of change up the program a little bit? Because if there's no communication, if they're just coming in, dropping off the money, dropping off the kid and saying this is that, and they're not trying to see, I don't want to say return on investment, but see some type of return on what they're spending so much time on, it becomes something that it just out of habit. That's why they're doing it. And it's a part of just their daily routine, and there's no longer sustenance with it. So,
and I think that's a huge thing, but I think it also, when you have those parents and that family that comes in, just drops the kid off, drops some money off, whatever, those are the ones that don't last anyway.
Right.
Because they're not taking the personal investment. They are, from a parent perspective, they're just expecting miracles, Hey, we're going to bring him for a 30-minute lesson once a week, and he's going to turn into an all-star hitter. No, that's not how that works.
Right.
You know, and generally when the parent doesn't make that investment time with the coach or doesn't come to a lesson or doesn't dive in, hey, I want to hear what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially younger kids, they vibe off that. They're like, mom and dad they don't even care. Why am I here? The older kids, now that's a different story. Those are the ones that if I got a kid that's above 13 years old and I'm like, hey, man, how many times you practiced this week? And he's like, oh, I didn't get to it. I'm like, oh, well, it's probably time to go find another sport then.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go back earlier. We had mentioned, you had talked about, working with you and being able to have that kind of sense of community almost, if you will, with different people. Word of mouth is kind of like you're in a certain community, so there's word of mouth. You're the hitting instructor, and people go to you. Do you see that people kind of use hitting instructors and pitching instructors as almost like an accessory, like a handbag, like I go to so and so, or
100%.
this many lessons?
100%.
I see that too.
And I used the word used earlier, and I didn't mean anything negative by it.
Right.
But now I'm going to use it in a negative way. That happens all the time. And that's what I was talking about. It's like parents want to say out in the world, hey, I go to such and such.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Is your kid getting better?
Exactly.
That's all that matters. Dude, one of my best friends is a hitting guy here in this area. And me and him talk all the time. Like, I'm the technical one. I'm the swing breakdown guy. I'm the one that, builds them. And he is a rhythm and flow. He played college ball, really good hitter. His dad has like the home run record at Sam Houston. Like, dude comes from baseball, and he is just more feel everything. And so me and him feed on. He works with higher, like high school, college more. And so it's like, it don't matter. What do you need? Who do you go to get what you need? Right. Yeah. I hate it when I hear, and I don't know anybody, dude. I stay in my own little bubble over here for real. Like, hey, have you heard such and such up here in Spring? Have you heard Springs up by Houston? Have you heard of such and such here in the Woodlands? No, I haven't. I have not heard of them. Just you go to a hitting coach. I hope you're happy with them. I hope they're doing wonderful things. Right. It's like
that brings me to a point. You don't have to pay hundreds, thousands of dollars, whether it's a pitching instructor or a hitting instructor, to get something out of it. You're different. Everybody's an individual. Everybody's unique. So if it works for you, go with it. Like you don't have to go to so-and-so. Okay, this whole softball team or this whole baseball team goes to this one guy as their pitching instructor, or this one lady as their pitching instructor. And if you don't go, then you're not keeping up with the Joneses, so you're not going to be on this team. Have you seen that too? Like you have to go to a so-and-so to be, in travel ball or this team or that team? I mean, has it gotten down there like this now?
I think on some level, yeah, kind of. I mean, there are certain teams that they have their trainers and they have their way of going about, like you were talking about word of mouth. There have been times where like I've got a kid from one team and I start lessons with him, and within 3 weeks, I've got 4 from his team calling.
Right.
So I think some of that also has to do with production. If you find a good coach, then more people are going to want to go.
Right.
I see it in the softball world more, where the coaches on the teams are hitting instructors, or they say, hey, you should go to this person or this person to be on this team. I don't see that as much with baseball. But softball, I think, just as a general rule, I think softball teams, softball culture is a lot more together. Like they're going to travel in packs.
Right.
Where baseball, not necessarily as bad. Most baseball guys have their own hitting coach and they do their own thing, or pitching coach or whatever it is.
Right. Well, as we jump straight in on this softball thing, I want to get into 2 big topics that I hear a lot working with girls, working with my own daughters, and seeing it, talking to different coaches. The first one is hips. People, they say different things about hips, and I want to get an understanding from you when you're talking about hips, what should they look like? How should they move to have a competitive swing?
Okay.
And also, let's talk about hand path. When we're talking softball, people talk about different things, whether it's just like a baseball swing. There's no difference in a baseball swing. This is the hand path for this. I mean, this is where the hand should be at contact. So the two big things that I hear the most about, especially in the last probably 3 months, is coaches talking about hips and coaches talking about hand path. So
the two H's.
We'll do what?
The two H's.
Yeah, the two H's.
Exactly. Hips and hands, man.
So if you want to demonstrate a drill that a parent can remember something that it's easy for them to, okay, this is the question that I had, and he's answering the question right now. It's, what are my hips, or what are my daughter's hips supposed to do before a swing, during a swing, after a swing, and the same thing with the hand path? What's something that we could give them?
Let me flip this around, and I'm not going to do an actual drill. I'll just kind of walk through the sequence of this,
sure.
and kind of do it that way, and make sure that I can get y'all in view here.
Sure.
All right, I think I got it right there. You good? Can you see?
It.
All right, man. So basically, there's a couple ways that people think about loading the hips. You're going to have people that say transfer weight, and then I don't really like that, because the transfer gets this motion going, where we start sliding. Okay. You're going to have people that say, hey, sit and get in your legs, where it's kind of this move.
Right.
Okay. Not a big fan of that by itself either, because what goes down into a squat must come up generally. And so we don't want to get down into our legs much. I teach a sit and coil. You've probably seen or heard of the coil. It's around. And basically, it's going to be that back hip kind of dropping back. Right. When you do that, you can feel that glute back there tighten up. And everybody's going to be a little bit different. You're going to have some really flexible girls that look like they can get all the way back here. And you're like, no, it doesn't take much. It's just kind of drop that back hip back. When you're looking at it from this side, you don't want to see the slide where it looks like that hip kicks out. Okay. You want to try to stay, people talk about strong on the backside.
Yeah.
So here, I like to think about sitting and coiling down a wall. So it would be, you have this bat. If I go back, I go past it. I want to be able to sit to the inside. Okay. So just that little bit of coil, that would be your load. A really good way to check that is if you can get into a position where we're not leaning back, but we're sitting in right here and hold this, and you can just chill. If you're loaded right, and I got my leg up, you should be able to just chill right here. And now I can go when I need to go. If I'm going to be a little more rushed, fine. If I want to be a slow mover, that's fine too. So that would be the load phase, right? And you can do that with a leg kick. You can do that with a toe touch. You can do that in a no stride. You can preset it where you're no stride and it's already dropped down. I use that a lot for softball. The softball girls like that front foot down early. Go ahead and preset that and go from there. As far as the hip drive or the hip release goes, it's all triggered from the front foot. And I know, see, I'll even try to put this down by my feet. So right here with this front foot, when the front foot hits, that heel trigger right there is what is going to engage the ground force. And from there, now my back hip would start to fire. So it would be land and down at that point. Once you land and that front foot gets down, now I like to think about taking that rear hip to the front of home plate, direction-wise. And coming in this way, you want to have everything here. You do not want to have this drift forward. Okay, my front knee would be over my toe at this point.
Right.
Okay, and then try to go, because now I get stuck back. You don't want to come in and straighten the front leg out, because that sends me backwards. We want to try to take that back hip to the front of home plate, and everything is going to line up. If I had a bat, we'd be in this position. Okay, so back hip to the front of home plate, without any drift. That would be the turn. And then the release of the backside all the way through. Get belly button, hips, everything facing the front of the middle of the field. I know you couldn't see my back foot there. I know there's a lot of talk. I'll flip. That's about as much on hips. That back foot is just going to react to the hip. You're going to have some guys that have a really active back foot that comes off the ground. You're going to have some guys that kind of just get to that big toe, and then a combination of both. We shouldn't be spinning backwards. Right. The rear heel should never go back first. It should always look like it's kind of working toward the ground between us, and then the release would come. Now, hand path, man, you're going to ask a doozy about hand path, aren't you?
Because it's just one of those topics of with parents with their I'm talking 8s, 9s, and 10s that are getting out of coach pitch where coaches are throwing the ball where they can hit it. It doesn't matter what Susie's swing looks like, they can throw it to hit the bat. So as they're trying to transition into rec ball and then up into starting to play some more competitive, some travel type stuff, I know there's not a one size fits all answer to this. We want the kid to be comfortable, but what's something that the parents should be looking at? So when they're out there in the yard hitting off a tee, they can see something like, hey, her hands are wrong. We need to get her used to this, start building this muscle memory now. Where's the good slot to start from where they do have control? It starts at control of the bat so we can start turning.
All right. So every single swing, we must find launch position. Okay, launch position is when the front foot hits the ground. Boom. You're going to have some kids that may be a little bit higher. You're going to have some that may be a little bit lower. You're going to have some that are a little bit further back. Okay, anywhere kind of in this area, I'm good with. I like to think about even with the front shoulder and then come up this way with the hands. Okay, this is just standard. All right, again, if we're just talking about the young ones, just getting them into a good position. This box right here, front arm up, we want to create that box, and then you want to turn the box. And if we can come in and think about my hands at my shoulders and then replace the elbow, that right there is going to keep us high connection so that we can, if the pitch is up, we're good. Everything should start here. If I need to go down at this point, this is where my hands would start to work to location.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Okay, if I need to go down and away right there, down and away. If I need to stay high, stay high. If I need to just, middle of the zone right there, thigh high, let's hit it out of the yard, boom, right here. As you're going to see a lot of kids with disconnection, and that's the one thing that I talk about all the time, is when you start dealing with hand path, the first thing you have to do is get connected. If you get disconnected, casting out, dropping down, coming too far up, trying to come this way, whatever it is, your hands don't have a chance because now you're just going to be in survival mode. Get the barrel there. Okay. Every single swing, and people listening, people watching, every single swing, we want to get to this position here. Get connected. I call this the corner. Okay. You've got the back side of your body. When I turn the corner, right there, this is now where my hands go, okay? And then do they need to go down? Like I said, down and away. Do I need to stay up? Do I need to stay in? Where do I need to go? But if those hands get away from us, you no longer have control. This is the pull, and you're going to get the rollover. You get back here, and you get the up, whatever it is. Connect high. And then allow the hands to work to location.
Perfect. Perfect. That's for the podcast listeners and for the ones that are watching it on YouTube. I mean, that right there, it's the two H's, the double H, hips and hands. It's if you can look at that and repeat that motion over and over, it gets a foundation to where they can figure out how they like it, how they want it. I mean, everybody's going to be different, but there are certain spots that every swing needs to get to be successful. At different ages. I mean, we all
not even at different ages. Get to launch.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can see major league guys how they set up. We can see college softball players. Everybody has a different stance. Everybody has their different routine. But those swings that you see, that wow, look at that swing. You look at contact where they're at, where at that exact moment, there's so many swings that are identical at that point, and it's about how you get to it. And you could be 6'5" or you could be 4'9". You could be really wide or really skinny, but you've got to get to a certain point in your swing to have success.
Can we talk about contact point for a second?
Sure, absolutely.
It's another one of those things out in the world that people are like, oh, this is what it needs to look like.
Right.
And there absolutely is not one way that it should look. Contact position has so many factors: pitch location, pitch type, timing. All of those things are going to determine where our hands and what our arms look like. And the thing that it's just one of these things. This is a pet peeve, is where everybody thinks, I'm trying to get up, that we need to have contact and be like this, where it's like, oh, see home plate. Dude, this is a really good position. I get it. Okay. However, what if that pitch is down and away? We going to do this?
Right.
No, that front arm is going to get straight. And now we've got the barrel down. This is a really good contact position too. This is a good position if I get caught in a little bit with this strong arm and a little bit of bend. Contact is about finding the barrel. Yep. It's not about having your hands in a perfect position or whatnot. If you have a pitch, mid-thigh, fastball right down the middle, and you catch it a little bit out in front, dude, it is going to be picture perfect right out here. Straight front arm, follow the barrel, whatever. But if you're a little bit late on that same pitch, you may be right here. But now that's a line drive to right field instead of a home run over center field.
Right.
So
you could take a swing like, let's say, Jocelyn Allo. We could take her swing, hitting a bomb that she caught that was down and in, take the ball away, take another picture of her hitting a bomb that was up and out over the plate. They look completely different, but both of them are incredible swings because the contact, where she got to, where her body was, where the contact point needed to be, she was able to exaggerate that at that moment and crush the ball.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is having adjustability. But it's one of those things, man. It's that pigeonhole thing. Like, oh, it has to look like this. It has to look like, no, it doesn't. It's all, and the people talk about the front arm. What should the front arm do? The front arm, everybody listening, the front arm action and position is 100% dependent on pitch location and timing. Bottom line, end of story. Okay. If you're late, you're going to be bent a little bit. If you're out front, you're going to be straight a little bit. If you're more up, you're going to be here. If you're more down, it's going to be here. There is no one way. Like, people are like, oh, get your front elbow up. Okay. That works really well if the pitch is elevated and I got to get here. But if that pitch is down and I take my front elbow up, so it's just some of it's just common sense that people don't seem to use.
There's not a one size fits all. If I swing like this every single time, I'm going to hit the ball. It doesn't work like that. There's another 50% of the equation is out there on, 40 feet, 43 feet, 60 feet from you. So,
dude, I think it's even more than that. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody threw fastballs right down the middle?
Right.
Then we could all swing the same and nobody would have jobs.
Right. There's so many variables. It's incredible. I mean, you're doing a heck of a job with hitting done right. What's the future look like right now? What do you have going on like this week, and leading into the new year? I mean, I know you're busy, but tell us where we can find you, what we have going on with you, so that way we can take what we've, a lot of people, maybe the first time they're hearing about you or knowing about you is from right now. Where can we get your information over to the masses even more? And so we can learn even more about this.
So online, Instagram and Facebook is a really good place to find just lesson clips, my live look-ins to lessons, drill ideas. I also, especially with those, I like to have fun with it. So just if you're a baseball fan, don't even have to really be for hitting, just a baseball fan. I'm always posting, highlight clips and funny clips and whatnot. The YouTube channel, I've had to start from scratch with that. Anybody that had followed, I formerly had the Baseball Doctor YouTube, but I'm switching everything and getting those videos up. So Hitting Done Right, HDR on YouTube. I've got a couple up there that people can go and check out, but I'm going to be adding to the drill catalog. Just getting started. They're going to be short individual drills. Just, this is a connection ball drill. This is the back knee down drill, PVC posture drill, whatever it is.
Right.
I am going to start adding in the longer videos as I get it all together and get rolling with it. As far as camps go, man, I just got back.
Busy.
Yeah, bro. I just got back from Canada. I went up there and visited some friends, trained a kid. I've got 2 camps this weekend. I go to Philadelphia at the end of the month. I go to St. Louis. I go to Green Bay. I've got some in the Dallas area, up in Denton. And then I believe there's one in January that's Portland. So it's I'm all over, man. Just get a hold of me, my email, everything. I do the swing analysis from my website, www.hittingdoneright.com. With those analysis, I do customized practice plans for that individual kid based on the analysis that would have drills and the video links to YouTube so that they can see the drills being executed. And then I also have hitting programs that are for specific phases or movements. I've got a connection program. I've got a dragging back elbow program. I've got a bat speed program. I have a high school varsity, like a team workout for any high school coaches that are looking for, a program for their team. And then I have a youth hitting program for players probably 8 to 12. So yeah, man, got it all going on, trying to get it rocking and rolling. Yeah.
I mean, last
I'm
night
out there.
I was watching you help a girl break in her ghost bat, and it was cool to watch you just candid, talking to her. Yeah, y'all are going through different things. She's working, getting her lesson in, and people are kind of able to look in. I think that's a big, as far as like social media is concerned. They're able to kind of, nothing is cut or clipped, or no one can say, well, he cut this part out, did it. Like this is you. I mean, this is Josh right here. He's working. He's in the lab. I mean, they're doing what needs to be done. So, I want to speak for everyone and tell you that, I mean, we appreciate what you do for the community, especially on my end with the softball community. I know there's tons of girls out there that are getting a lot of, I won't say bum scoop, but a lot of girls aren't being taught the right way, and they need someone like you that they can go to. So with your social media, with wherever it's at, they're able to find out they can work on their own. Parents too, they can see that. I think that's one big thing, that they may be too scared or maybe too nervous to start something, find a hitting instructor, or maybe they don't have the funds for it or the time for it. But the videos that you have out there is definitely a starting point where they can get a good foundation. And if it wasn't guys like you in particular, these girls may not be playing the sport in a couple of years. So I think that's
I try to make it affordable too, man. I mean, for me, it turned into a business. I am not a business guy. Like this whole thing with Baseball Doctor that is now gone and trying to start, like, dude, I want no part of that. Like, it sucks. Right. I don't want, I had to hire a business manager for this. I just want to coach baseball. But I want to try to make it as affordable as possible. Yeah. So the practice plans that you can get are 2 weeks worth of drills lined out for you that you can keep forever. And it's $100. So if you don't want to spend, $300-400 a month on a hitting instructor somewhere, you can get this for $100 and have it forever. the hitting analysis is $100, but it's a full swing breakdown with models and showing the positions and everything. And so for those people, and that's a majority of my online business comes from people that aren't in big cities or don't have a big baseball following or community there with proper instruction.
Right.
And so I've got to make it affordable for them. We're not asking, $350 for 1 week or, it's crazy what some people do. But yeah, man, it's there, and I am always willing to help. Like, that's the thing is people reach out. I try to get back with everybody online, which is a daunting task, but I really do. I take pride in that. If you're interested in learning and you're believing in what I'm doing and you got questions, dude, I am right here. I stay up till all hours of the night. Just grind it.
I mean, me and you, we haven't been talking all that long, but dude, you'll text back. And I know, like, I was literally watching you live yesterday, and I sent you a text, and it was in between, like, what you were doing that you shot a text back to me. So, I mean, like, when he tells you that he will get back to you, I promise you he'll get back to you if it's a question. It's not a business, in the sense of you're doing it for the money. It's a business because you got to have some type of structure. You're doing it for the kids. You're doing it for the families, man. And I wish there was more people out there like you. You're doing it for all the right reasons. And I have 3 daughters. Like I've said this multiple times. I have 3 daughters that they follow you. They pay attention to you. And it feels like they can reach out and touch you. And I think that's big. We have to have that tangible sense of our coaches so that they can learn from it. If it's something,
well, tell them thank you.
Absolutely, man. If they feel like they're being taught to, like, this is the way you got to do it because I said so, they're not going to learn it. But if they can actually feel that connection with you and others, they're going to learn more. It makes it real to them. So, dude, you're doing great. I'm going to have all of your information put down in the description below so that people can find you. We're going to have this episode up really, really soon, right away. I want to get it put out there pretty quick. Okay. So, I mean, we're shooting this thing on the 7th. You'll probably see this thing on the 8th. I want it out there.
I like it. Efficiency, baby.
Yeah. I want them out there so you can do it. And maybe we'll link back up pretty soon. And that way we can kind of talk about what's next for, HDO. I can't wait to see what happens, man.
We need to get Nate back on here with us. Me and him are doing 2 dual camps in Texas in October.
Okay. Let's do that. Me and Nate were talking about that too. He'd mentioned, doing something in the future about getting a few of us together and kind of just like a round table talking about different topics around the game. So that would be cool for me. I would love to set that up and definitely have you on for that.
Okay, and I've got a couple other guys who'd be interested in doing that too.
Let's do that. Let's tease that for now, and then maybe later on this fall
It's coming.
It'll be out there. All right, man. I'll catch up to you. Good having you on here, and do not be a stranger.
Appreciate you, man. Be good.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode. Big time shout out to Josh for stopping by. It's always good to catch up with him. If you're not yet subscribed to his channel, it's Hitting Done Right HDR on YouTube. All of his socials are going to be down below in the description. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please do so and make sure you smash that like button. When you share this content with a friend, make sure you tell them you love them.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.